So, when Davos 2026 wrapped up, we all saw the headlines, right? Lots of handshakes, lots of photo ops, but what actually came out of it? That's what we're digging into today. We're going to cut through all that noise and get to the stuff that really matters. The new deals, the business strategies that are going to have a real impact on U.S. companies, and, yeah, even on your wallet. Let's jump in. All right, just a heads up, this is part 2 of our 10-part tutorial. And everything we're about to talk about, it's all pulled directly from Chapter 2 of this really in-depth research report by Virtualization Options LLC. It's called Key Takeaways from the 2026 World Economic Summit in Davos and their impact on U.S. business and consumers. A bit of a mouthful, but it's packed with great info. You know, it's a question a lot of us have. You see these pictures of world leaders meeting up in a Swiss Alps, and it's easy to think, okay, but is this just a bunch of talk? Like, does any of this high-level stuff actually trickle down and make a difference for, our businesses or our economy? Well, according to that Virtualization Options report, it's way more than just talk. They actually describe Davos 2026 as a crucible, which is a great word for it. Think of it as this intense pressure cooker where new agreements and big strategic pivots were literally forged. And we're not talking about abstract theories here. These are real changes that are meant to have a direct impact right here at home in the U.S. Okay, so how does that actually happen? How do you get from a handshake to a real action plan? Well, this is the first big thing the report dives into, the actual process of turning all that conversation into something concrete. Moving beyond the diplomatic nice-to-sees and into real, measurable economic progress. The analysis actually lays out this really clear 4-step path. First, we've got the initial dialogues at Davos, kind of the informal chats that get the ball rolling. Step 2, those chats open the door to more formal one-on-one negotiations between countries. From there, Step 3, you can get to what really matters, selective tariff reductions. And all of that leads to the final goal, Step 4, better market access for U.S. businesses. Yeah, the researchers pretty much boil it down to that simple flow. The talks at Davos, they're the spark. They kick off this whole chain reaction that's specifically designed to end with real, tangible economic benefits. But hey, it wasn't just about governments making deals. The big corporate leaders were there, and they were paying close attention. With all the uncertainty in the world, they started putting together brand new playbooks, all focused on one thing, making their companies stronger and more resilient. And the report zeroes in on 2 major strategies that kept coming up in those CEO discussions. The first one is a biggie, supply chain diversification. Basically, it means not putting all your eggs in one basket. Companies are realizing they can't be dependent on just one country for their parts. It's all about building in more stability. The second strategy, a huge new push for investment in innovation. The idea here is that in this competitive global market, the best defense is a really good offense. You got to be the one creating the next big thing. Okay, so we've got these new trade pathways on one side and new corporate game plans on the other. But let's bring this right down to earth. What does any of this actually mean for you? I mean, whether you run a business, work for one, or you're just buying stuff, what's the impact? Right, this is the bottom line question, isn't it? And what's cool is that the report draws a straight line from these huge global shifts right to our everyday economic reality. So let's break it down. Those tariff reductions? For us, that can mean lower prices on certain things we buy from other countries. That improved market access? That's huge for U.S. exporters. It means they can compete better on the world stage, which is great for their business. And that supply chain stuff? For you and me, that could mean more stability and hopefully fewer of those annoying out-of-stock messages we've all seen way too much of. And finally, that big investment in innovation? Well, that's where new jobs and completely new services could come from, right in our own backyard. So you can see how Davos 2026 really set a new stage. It created a whole new set of opportunities, but also new competitive pressures. And now that these strategies are starting to roll out, it brings up a really critical question about what comes next. So if all these companies are doubling down on innovation to get an edge, what kind of technology are they going to use to do it? What does that innovation even look like? Well, that question is the perfect setup for the next chapter of the report, which is all about technology, AI, and the whole digital transformation. And you guessed it, that's exactly what we're going to tackle in part 3. And there you have it, a look at the real deals and strategies that came out of Davos. As always, our entire breakdown here is based on the fantastic research from Virtualization Options LLC. Because at the end of the day, getting a handle on these huge global forces is really the first step in figuring out our own economic landscape. Thanks so much for tuning in.